The mentorship was really important because then kids with FASD can see that you can have a successful life.
White Crow's team leaders are just as important and inspirational to parents, like Amy Emmett.
It has lessened the stress speaking with the young adults with White Crow that are affected with FASD and seeing how successful their lives have become because they have supportive people around them. That has given us hope.
Kee Warner is the founder of White Crow Village. She has adopted and fostered several children with FASD. After watching her kids struggle to fit in at regular summer camps, she decided to start her own.
What we discovered was the kids did really well. We had structure, we had predictability, the rules applied to everybody, we had as few rules as possible. And then we discovered that they went back into the same misunderstanding in their communities, sometimes in their home. So we've included parents and professionals and extended family, siblings that aren't affected. Sometimes we've even had neighbor families come.
Any professional who has an interest in understanding FASD, I think that it could be a wonderful learning opportunity.
So what started out as a camp for kids with FASD has evolved to be a life session that involves the whole community, including professionals.
Live-in Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder education session. If we could model our lives about the structure and the respect and the relationship that we have here, it would be better for everybody.
Oh, does that mean you have a 3?
For parents like Debbie Diamond, White Crow was more like a life-saving session.
The support and the stories and learning more about FASD and the kids grow. And they can see how Kirk and Kelly and Adam are all making it. And, you know, and my girls want to do this too. They want to come and work here and teach other kids.
White Crow also shows that when the people and services around children with FASD adapt to their needs, the change is remarkable.
FASD is not only invisible, but it's largely inaudible. The people that have FASD may sound just pretty much like everybody else, although they don't understand as well. And because they look just like everybody else, we don't accommodate in the same way that we would if we saw somebody coming through with a white cane or a wheelchair.
Adam can come up.
Aspects of the premise are simple: respect, structure, consistency. All things children with FASD need to succeed.
We don't have processed foods, and we don't have sugar. I think there's enough research to say it does help with behavior. It helps people control their own behavior so that they aren't being controlled.
Ready? Everybody ready? Go! Go! 1, 2.
Even the games they play are specially adapted to fit to the life session.
We don't play games where people are caught out, because then it's not fun anymore. Things that make people feel stupid or clumsy are rampant in the rest of our families' lives.
Numbers!
We're modeling a way to be inclusive of everybody's skills and to value those skills.
So respectful communication part 4. Da, 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 da.
While the youth play outdoors, parents, caregivers, and FASD educators attend school for an intensive education session.
Be very specific about what is wanted. Again, what you want done, not what you don't want them to do. Don't run. What do we use here?
Walking.
Right.
They leave with valuable knowledge they can then bring to their homes, schools, practices, and communities that will help everyone who deals with FASD be more successful.
I think it changed the way that I gathered information and listened. I mean, I could never fully know what it's like to spend 24/7 living with a person with FASD, but I have a sense of that, having spent several weeks. I've been to 3 White Crow camps.
The underlying spirituality of the White Crow Village model exists in every facet of the day.
The Paddler Award.
Ending with a closing circle that nourishes the sense of community and celebrates the joy and the growth that these children, families, and professionals gain from being together. The circle offers everyone a chance to share and to be heard. It's an important healing experience for children with FASD.
I appreciate it very much.
Kids need to be heard, and especially with fetal alcohol when it's difficult to communicate what you're feeling and what you've seen. To have somebody actually take the time to listen to what you have to say.
Stay here, but I want to stay here. Every time I go there, I make new friends, and that they're really nice. They don't judge you, because again, they're going through the same thing.
Hi, my name's Cheyenne. It's with people who you relate to, and being with people that can relate to you is good. They have to get along really good.
My name is Debbie, and I had a great week again.
I think they've developed a little bit more respect for their parents and for themselves. And now they can take the tools that they've learned and apply it on a day-to-day basis and feel more comfortable with themselves.
1, 2, 3.
If people come to us and they see that it works, and then they go back to their community and they say, these are the kinds of things that you will see at camp that are different, and this is what I see it doing for our community.
We still have some reluctance to acknowledge that FASD is real. We need to come to terms with the reality of FASD. When that switch changes, then I think that models of learning, such as White Crow, will become more significant.
Beyond White Crow, it's a common hope that people will come to see children with FASD not as disabled, but as differently abled.
We need to look at our children and what are their strengths, you know? We have to really focus on what can they do good and positive.
He's blown us all out of the water with who he is. He's insightful and creative and a wonderful imagination. He's written some awesome stories and, you know, just likes to have a great conversation.
She's an amazing, amazing girl. She memorized a whole play that they wrote at daycare, a Harry Potter play. She memorized everybody's lines.
Gladys's 2 boys are now healthy, happy teenagers.
They're brilliant. They are so brilliant. They're both doing well and in grade 11, so that's pretty good.
But often, the strengths of kids like Jordan, Lindsay, and the Diamond Girls don't surface in school, where they can struggle just to keep up.
This is our learning program, Educating Unique Kids Organization.
So this year, the Diamonds are trying something new.
Oh yeah, let's go for Singing on Blue, people.
You're in and you're out, you're up and you're out.
I had 3 kids go through the school system. It was fine, but not for kids with neurological disabilities.
In a second home on their property, the Diamonds have hired a teacher and started their own school for children with FASD and other neurological disorders.
You're opening the little beads, so
Brianna wants so badly to have somebody to love her, you know, somebody to take care of her. And I'd cry every night thinking, I can't put this kid in middle school. I'm gonna lose her. There's too many drugs, there's alcohol, there's boys. I wanted to protect her.
can you see something that looks like it's off the farm?
It's like homeschooling, but we hire teachers to take care of our kids, and they're gone from 9 until 2, 5 days a week.
We were having troubles. We wouldn't get the help that we needed when we needed it.
I think I'm doing the work that I should be doing. It's not the books with the big, huge letters in it. They had me reading grade 2 level. That made me mad when they give me really easy stuff. I'm like, I can do better things. I'm not a baby.
Math was the hardest. I would try to get help, but I don't know how to ask for help. I don't want to feel like I'm stupid.
I try and structure the day so that the learning's optimal. If I set the timer for 15, 20 minutes, that's enough work. We gotta go do something physical again, some movement, something fun, and then they can go back to their desk and do it again.
You're supposed to touch your brain.
Yeah, it's just like White Crow. You don't want to overstimulate their brain. You want them to do as much as they can handle without getting frustrated.
Can you help me tuck it into this part, like you did over there?
A calm, predictable, and less complicated environment is crucial to the success of children with FASD.
Okay, who's coming, Miga or Barclay? Both? Okay.
In Surrey, Julie and Lindsay Folland have found new reasons for hope.
Ready to go?
I found out about this program that the Surrey School District has set up that is just for children who have FASD. I jumped at it because it was like, okay, that's like a room full of people that are gonna get Lindsay and find her strengths and work with them.
The Fast Track program set up at Kennedy Trail Elementary School recognizes that children with FASD need specific strategies to help them learn.
The new research, the new evidence, the new programs that are popping up around the world are teaching us that there is something specific that we can do that is unique and distinct from the other behavioral programs.
You see it right when you walk in, that everyone has their space and there's dividers between them so that there's fewer distractions and they have their own work environment.
And this morning I feel each student on their desk when they arrive has a piece of paper. It's a daily schedule. It's pictures and words. And beside each of those is a blank box where we write down how that time went. And this is really big because it's homeschool communication, and without the homeschool communication, the program is not going to be successful because we need to be all on the same page. If there's been a rough night or rough morning, the parents will write on the back of that form saying what's happened so that we are aware and we know how they're coming into the classroom and how their experience at home has affected them.
Lindsay, question. Did you bring in the recipe you were talking about
We do
yesterday?
have only 8 students in the class and 4 staff members, so we're able to make the accommodations for the students that other classrooms would not be able to provide.
Why would I be excited
About
today,
9
Riley?
per 1,000 students have a fetal alcohol diagnosis in the spectrum. That's a huge number of students. We have over 65,000 students in Surrey. So we aren't going to be turning schools into FAS schools, but rather learning from them and learning what we can transfer back into the regular classroom so that teachers can say, okay, we do have some strategies, we have some approaches that are effective.
Does it sound like A or does it sound like A?
My hope for Lindsay is that she will learn in a way that she understands it so that she doesn't think she's a loser and she doesn't think she's dumb, because she's not.
So are we going to write that one down? No. And it doesn't happen all at once, it's baby steps. We are making progress.
The Fast Track project is expanding to include a primary and a secondary school program.
We know historically is that students with an FASD diagnosis tend not to stay in school long. They end up dropping out because it's not a fun place. So one measure of success is if these students enjoy coming to school more, if they fit in better and have something for them that they can feel successful doing, they'll stay in school longer. And society and everyone wins that way because they're developing skills, hopefully more likely to be involved in meaningful employment. So just keeping them in school is already a measure of success.
Good job.
Okay, let's go.
But not everyone can start their own school or attend special classes. Summer break is over for Jordan, and Amy Emmett is still hopeful her son can be successful in a mainstream school.
It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible unless you have someone that's constantly advocating for the child.
What day is today?
Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday.
Yes, it is.
Fortunately, this year Jordan has been assigned a full-time teaching assistant. It's a promising start.
Bye, Bob. Have fun.
He is going into grade 5, and he's reading at very early primary still.
Manitoba.
I
I can't read chapter books. I'm starting on little books right now.
He can do math with a calculator, sometimes, but not all the time.
5. And what is this number?
4.
4. So 5.
The less stimulation, the better. Unfortunately, that cannot always be the case because there's another 25 children in the classroom and they need the stimulation. They need to see pictures on the walls. They need to have the bright sunshine come in.
When Jordan does feel overwhelmed, there's a special room set up where he can go to calm down or work with his teaching assistant to focus.
Can a boy read?
He doesn't understand the language that we speak all the time. He gets words confused, so therefore if there's 3 or 4 children talking all at once, those words are all jumbled inside his head and it can't find its way to him understanding what they're all saying at the same time. And so therefore he starts yelling and screaming and pushing people away because he doesn't have any idea what anybody's saying, and he thinks, well, they're all just yelling and screaming, so I'm going to start yelling and screaming too. And so that leads to a lot of social failure for him.
Can a girl read?
They experience a lot more frustration in their lives because of their processing problems. For example, if a child had a language processing problem, a teacher might come along and give very lengthy and detailed instructions. The child might be sitting there thinking about trying to understand and remember what he's supposed to do. The teacher comes back 5 minutes later and says, "You haven't even started yet?" And at that point, the child might be frustrated enough to blow up.
Right girl.
If we look at traditional curriculum, it doesn't work for kids with FASD. And we really do need to look at their individual profile and then what they're good at. By building it on their strengths and their interests, you'll have a more effective learning experience, a more positive learning experience, and most important, what we want are educated citizens.
So,
Can a girl read?
In a different kind of classroom, Gladys Evoy now runs the YWCA Moms program in Vancouver's inner city, the same program that once helped her.
My first certificate I got, I've still got it in a frame. I was so proud.
After attending sessions every week for 3 months, her first group is about to graduate.
It's good to be able to start something and follow through and finish it, and you ladies did, so right on. A lot of women experience shame and guilt, you know, and that can be devastating and that can send you back out. So you need to have a strong recovery support plan and people ahead of you saying, yes, I drank and drugged when I was pregnant. I've forgiven myself. What can we do about it now? Angie, I'm so proud of you. You've come a long way, and just keep doing what you're doing. You know, going to your meetings and hanging out with clean and sober people. Miracles happen.
Thank you.
For Gladys, the miracles keep happening.
I won an award, which is so neat, for social adversity. In 2006, the Courage to Come Back Awards. It was a pretty magical night. I was able to meet my daughter that I had put up for adoption. I finally realized what Courage to Come Back meant was because I was out there for 18 years and I got clean and sober and helping the community, Courage to Come Back to help out. Yeah, it's been amazing. I know there's school tomorrow, but what are you gonna do?
And Gladys has another personal triumph in her 12-year-old daughter, Patty, who is not affected by FASD.
Yeah, what'd you do? With Patty, it was like my angel. Even her being born healthy after 18 years of addiction, it was a miracle. You know, they're all miracles.
Sometimes when I feel like I have walked into a brick wall, I've sat down and cried and thought, what else can I do? Why are the doors being shut? This is just a little boy.
Amy was on the verge of burnout when hope came in the form of a new provincial program. Key workers like Jack Jardine help parents connect to the resources their children need.
What else are you looking for the year? Where I start is where they're having problems, and I sit beside them while they sort the issues out, and I can help them understand the way the system works, the constraints of the person that they're trying to deal with is working under, and then help them plan ways of helping that person move their position. So he came off meds
The end of June. Yeah. I can call the key worker and say, listen, I'm really having a hard time with this. I really feel this is something that's going to benefit Jordan in his future. Then, you know, we'll work on it together from there. I know I'm not by myself anymore.
So integration socialist.
Yeah.
Amy and Jack prepare for an upcoming meeting at school that will help new staff better understand Jordan's needs. Last year in class, when Jordan couldn't handle things, he ran away.
The school had thought that, you know, Jordan's doing so well, let's integrate him. Well, you can't do that. He doesn't suddenly become able to deal with a lot of stimulation. He doesn't suddenly be able to deal with loud noises or a lot of light. You don't get past FASD. It's a lifelong condition.
No problem. It's nice to know that there's somebody there with me.
See you next week.
In addition to receiving moral support from a key worker, Amy also gets a physical and mental break from a respite worker.
So what's the plan, buddy, for after lunch?
It means the world to the family. We're able to spend more time with Lily. I can get things done in the house. I can have a little bit of quiet time, so when Jordan does come home, I'm refreshed, and Jordan talks constantly, so that can wear on you after a while. Yeah, please don't take it off.
Raising children with extra care needs, it's 24/7. They need to know what their child's doing every minute of the day.
Dawn Grunert and Allison Gall founded the program after seeing many parents like Amy struggle to cope.
2, 1.
It's not just putting your child in a room and watching TV. You need somebody there to be their sense of safety and keep them safe and keep them entertained.
What are you talking about, you got me?
It gives him more freedom. So Jordan's actually making choices as to what he's going to do with his day and learning to work with another human being other than his parents. So that's huge for Jordan.
When we do surveys, always there's several families that identify our family wouldn't be together in this way today if it wasn't for the benefit of respite.
On the right guy, wait, no, you jump, okay?
The Respite Program is a 2-year pilot project.
If the family unit falls apart, what's going to happen to the child?
Amy wants the province to consider it a vital service for families of children with FASD.
The family is the ultimate bond for the success of that person's life, and the government needs to recognize that. The priority is respite. Go eat your lunch.
Hello!
Parents and caregivers alike say it's time to make the most common cause of birth defect a priority.
FASD is common, expensive, and preventable. The diagnosis is possible, it's meaningful, and it's necessary.
With improved knowledge and awareness of FASD, there is hope.
I find hope in the fact that we don't know yet how well these children can do if we provide them with the right kind of support.
Where do I find hope? When my son says, "Good parenting skills, Mom." Or I find hope when a little girl made me a little card and I opened it up and it said, "Thanks for helping my mom."
There is hope for the children.
Looking at Jordan himself gives us hope because of the type of human being he is developing into. He is a nice person.
I was crying. And she's like, "What's wrong, Mom?" And I said, "I am so sorry." And what she said to me was, "I love you and you love me. And I have FASD and that's okay." She says, "'Cause like you say, we'll get through it together."
There is hope for prevention.
We as a society need to understand that alcohol does bad things to babies. But we also as a society, I think, have a responsibility to ensure as much as we can that pregnancy is healthy. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village and a society to support women's pregnancies.
We have to be there from the prevention programs through to the support programs for affected individuals who are then having children themselves, so that we don't see an intergenerational impact of alcohol.
And there is hope for the future.
Education is so important, people to be educated and to know we are all human beings.
I want people to go out and learn about FASD, and I want my kids to learn and thrive and be happy.
I would like people to know that you're not all that different from other people. That's it.